Before we get to Text to Columns tool, please complete the assignments as instructed at Exercise 2, Find, Replace, and Join Boxes. Let's learn about the Text to Columns tool. The Text to Columns tool provides a function that allows you to separate data using symbols that are placed between the data. Let's go to the Parse toolbar and drag and drop the Text to Column tool and place nearby the Join tool. Then I'll draw data from the J node of the Join tool to connect with Text to Columns tool. Let's take a look at the incoming data. In the first field, Retrieval ID column, you can see that there are sharp symbols in multiple places in the text data. And toward the right end of the text, you will notice that the last three setup numbers are date information. This kind of symbol being placed with a pattern, we call it delimiter. The text to column tool allows you to separate data by specifying a delimiter found in your data. Let's go to the configuration pane on the left. In the first drop-down box, you can select text field that you want to separate. In our case, it's retrieval ID, which is already selected as default. Then, let's enter the delimiter in the box to the right, which is, in our case, sharp symbol. And below from there, you will see split to columns option and split to rows option. So if you want to separate your data based on the delimiter into new fields across toward the right direction, the new columns, you select Split to Columns option. But if you want your separated data into new records toward the downward direction, you can select Split to Rows option. In our incoming data case, it would be fine to extract the date information into new fields. So we will leave it as a split to columns option. And let's look at the detail options here. You can determine the number of fields to be created depending on how many delimiters there are in your target field. And we see that date information is located at the right end of the text. So we need to separate all the way through the end of the text. And we can count the number of delimiter is 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. So in this case, we would actually want to enter 5 in number of columns to be separated. And if I only need the first alphabet and the following numbers, and I don't need the other text after that, then I can just adjust this number to 3 and then select Leave Extra in Last Column option. In that case, the date information will be left in the last third field without being separated. Additionally, if you expand the extra characters option box, there are drop options to not consider the remaining data, and also an error option to generate an error message if there is still remaining data after the last separated column. In the output root name field below is where you can specify the new field's name that contains the separated data. So if you enter a root name of date in this case, the new fields will have columns headers like date 1, date 2, date 3, and so on. And if you just leave it as blank, the new fields will be assigned with simply numbers. And I'll just leave it empty. And let's go over the advanced options below. And these are options to ignore the limiter in certain situations. And from the top, You can override to skip delimiters in quotes, single quotes, parentheses, and brackets. The skip empty columns option, this will allow you to skip the line with extra fields that are created due to certain record line having a different number of delimiters than the previous record. So for example, if one line has 4 delimiters, like we have right now, and the line next only has 3 delimiters, then the second line, the next line, would have an empty column because the line right before that would have generated more columns than the next line. In such case, when you want to skip line, you can consider this last option box. So after checking all the options, let's hit run. At the bottom result pane, you can see that the separated date information fields are newly created at the end of the original columns. This concludes our review on the Text to Columns tool. Please practice and complete the assignments as instructed below the text to column box, and also complete the assignments below the formula box as well.